Thank you for choosing another episode of Double Craft Leather. In this episode, we're going to be finishing up the Slim Wallet, which will be included in a giveaway for the 100th subscriber for this channel.
I was at a point where I was just ready to start stitching this. I finished it, and now what we're going to do is we're going to dye the edges with a dark brown color as opposed to saddle tan. So the reason I use dark brown is that you can see various striations or discolorations in the leather, and that's due in part to staining all this. Otherwise it'd be the same color. So if I was to put saddle tan on there, some pieces would be more dark than others, and that's not really the desired look that I'm going after. So then we're going to do our finishing of the edges with Tokonal, available on Amazon for about $10-12. And then at that point we're going to rub our mink oil in and we're going to call this good. Now, while I was making this one, in the background, I was also making another one. Now, I was trying to think of a way to pick up subscribers and views and stuff. So I'm going to be implementing a giveaway. I'm not sure how I'm going to structure the giveaway yet, but if you have any suggestions, please comment below. So yeah, I'd be giving away this wallet, or one exactly like it, to maybe the 50th subscriber or 100th subscriber, or so maybe I'll make a set of these and give these away as well. Okay, with that, I'm gonna run to Hobby Lobby and I'll be back soon. Here, see here that I've already started doing this. So I'm just giving it like a second coat just to darken up the edges even more. The Tokonal will also add more darkness to it. No. Well, it's okay. Sometimes, and it's like hard to help this. And if anybody has any sort of like tips on how to combat the bleeding, because it's like you do your scything, but then you go over it with this. You could probably do the Tokonal first and then do this. Maybe that would help, and it would prevent that from bleeding over like that. But it's really just bleeding over because you've scythed the edges. So okay, all right. So we're now ready. We have all the edges stained, and now we're going to use our Tokonal. You want to be very careful with this stuff, especially if you're using saddle tan. If you get the Tokonal onto the saddle tan, it darkens it up a lot, and it just kind of makes it, it's just like a big swatch on your perfectly well done canvas of leather. And turn this up to, oh, I just did it right there. Terrible. I don't know how that happened. Terrible. I can work that with the mink oil to try and get that a little bit darker, but like I said, that's what happens. If you're not paying attention. Okay, so what you want to do is let that dry a little bit. So I turned up the decibel limit on my microphone here to see if it'll actually pick up the sort of sound this makes. So one thing that I like to do, like you can see here that there is just a bit of difference. Like there's a little edge here. What I like to do is I use the flat part. I'll just kind of smash that down. And then I'll go over it with this. The edges come inward. So you want to polish it, burnish it until you get a nice black sheen on it. Okay, so at this point we can now move on to applying the mink oil, which is a protective covering. It sort of darkens up the saddle tan, adds a little bit of shine to it. And at the same time, you want to make sure you get to these edges that you can't really get to. It also kind of loosens up the leather as well. Yeah, I like to use this, stretch out these pockets. That's not impossible to pull the card out. A couple of these I made for people I didn't do this step, and it really made it difficult for them to pull the cards in and out. Okay. Alright, so this is our final product here. Put up 3 cards, maybe 4. You could actually probably put 2 cards just back to back in there. Probably put 2 cards back to back in here. So yeah, this is going to be a giveaway for the 100th subscriber. So please click like and subscribe, and thank you again for joining me for this episode of Devilcraft Leather. If you're ever creating anything, put your whole effort into it, and remember that the devil is always in the details.